The basic question in Jnanayoga is what is real? What is unreal? We are asking the question, what is real? When you ask the question, you're asking the question to yourself to find an answer. The answer can come only from the mind, from its content. Content is the retentions of the past experiences, or borrowed ideas, or bookish knowledge, or your own experience. That is there. So when you ask the question, you're not asking to anybody, you're asking to yourself. When you ask the question, the mind will project its answers. What is real? So the mind can give any answer. When the mind says the answer is a doubtful answer. So you are staying there and meditating upon this. What is real? And you meditate upon this. That means you have a tremendous focus in getting an answer. The mind goes on saying its answers. As soon as the mind says the answer, you may have a doubt because the clarity won't be there. Any answer that the mind is giving is not a final answer, that you don't know, but the mind goes on saying. The test is whether it is absolutely satisfying for you or not. If it is not absolutely satisfying, you negate it with the mind. You ask to your own mind for an answer, the mind projects the answer, you absolutely focus and stay with it, and if there is an element of doubt in this, then the answer is not accepted. Until it says yes. So this is called the neti principle. Na iti, neti. It is not. Neti. Neti means not this. You are asking what is the real answer, it will start to say many answers. But you are staying there, whether it is absolutely satisfying. And no answer is absolutely satisfying for the mind because the answer also goes on changing. So the mind becomes so potent and it goes on working to find the answer deep inside. It's not simply saying anything, but you are looking, and the answer gets refined all the time. The mind will not give the same answer because it is trying. With all the content, it is trying to find a better answer, a satisfying answer. That's a subtle program. That program is on. And whatever answer it is saying, you are not simply saying not this, but you are looking. And then when you are convinced that it is not, you realize that not this. So you put the same question. And you are exhausting the content of your mind or the idea of the mind to give an answer on this because it cannot give the final answer. It cannot give the final answer for anything. And then the mind will not work in that. Then the answer is no. Then the question comes. So we don't know what is real. The answer is not clear. You go on asking. So you take subsidiary questions to actually go into it deeply. And so who is asking the question? I am asking the question. And what I have a body, I have senses, I have mind, I have intellect, I have ego, I have a deeper faculty which says that I am somebody. And all these faculties are there inside deeply. And you wanted to see, who am I? This is the real question of Jnanayoga. You started asking what is real, what is unreal. And the mind was trying, and mind cannot give the answer. But we are trying with the mind, and so we are trying to look into the person as you are, and really putting questions to yourself. The first question is, am I the body? Am I the body? And the right question is there because we are looking the body, whether the body is real or not. The first question is, what is real? And whether the body is real. Is the body real? Is the body real? So what is the test of reality? There comes that question. If the body is a permanent thing and it is not changing, now it is seemingly real, but the next moment it is different. It goes on changing. There will come a day that the body won't be here in this form. And so the body cannot be real. So you go on putting the question and the mind will give all the possible answers which the mind could give. And it goes on refining all the questions as we were discussing before comes up. And then finally you put the question, you rest, you put the question, meditate, and finally the mind will have to say that, means mind will say that, because it cannot find an answer. So it will say that body is not real, because it's not staying here permanently. All the allied questions will be shown by the mind. And finally it says, I am not the body. Am I the body? The answer is no. And then the Jnanayogi is deepening his question. Am I the senses with which I interact with the world? Gathering information to understand the world. Am I the senses? In the earlier question, am I the body? I have a body, but I am not the body. I am something more. I have a body, but I am something more than the body. I have a body, I am something more than the body, so I am not the body. Then who am I? The next question. Then who am I? And in that question, it is looking whether am I the senses? Am I the senses? The same thing. It's a long-term meditation. The final question you need to know. So we are not simply saying, usually what we do, we know. Somebody said, I am not the body. So immediately you say no. Jnanayogi is not taking that answer in that way. He is probing continuously until the final answer comes. And so it takes a long time to confirm that. Otherwise, we are copying somebody's idea and we project this idea and we didn't understand it. But we believe because Shankaracharya Swami has said it. And that tendency needs to be washed by the Jnanayogi. When an answer is coming, is it an answer that is coming directly from you, or it is an answer that is coming from an external agency? And this is very important. Otherwise, we can get all the answers quickly because everybody has said it. But this is not my experience. So far it is not your experience, you will not be convinced of the answer. This is what happens. Always when you put this question, the answer comes immediately because already the answer is said. The one who said the answer at the first time, the master, he has probed into it, he spent a lot of years And then he confirmed it for himself. That's why he put it out. Then subsequent masters had the answer but not the experience. This is what happens. When we say neti, we are simply saying because already it is established, but we don't have the experience. Then it becomes a false understanding actually, because as you have no direct experience of the answer, certainly you are not confirmed. So the doubt will remain with you. Even if you confirm it, but the doubt comes back at some time. That is why we go on putting questions, the same question. So the mantra is this. You go on putting the question to find the final answer the mind could project. The mind goes on trying. And finally, the mind cannot give any answer final because we are not satisfied. Mind saying things to us to satisfy ourselves, but here the person is still in inquiry, is not ready to accept anything, but he is open to find the maximum that comes out of the questioning as an answer. And final answer will come. Am I the senses? My senses are working sometimes. When I am very alert, senses are very alert. When I am a little sluggish, my senses are not working. I am not aware of my senses also. And then I am very tired. My senses are not as alert as before. And then you are falling in sleep. What happens to the senses? The senses are putting off. So this is a group of instruments that works and it puts off. That works, it puts off. When it is not working, it is as good as not there. You have the ears, you have all the different sensations and sense organs. But it works sometimes, then it puts off. It's not a permanent thing. And so that which is coming, that is how they came to the idea of permanence. Because if it is not permanent, how can it be real? Sensations, the sense organ, not the senses, actually the sense organ. Whether the sense organs are real as part of the body, may be real, but whether they are really real because it operates, it goes down. So it is not something which is continuously working. It can work, it is there, we know it is there. But the whole being itself will end someday, and the sensations will also, sense organs will put off completely. And then the body is not going to be here. As an extension of the body, this is also not going to be there. So it is not really following the test of reality based on the idea of permanence. And so the senses are not there. Sense organs, I will write actually, sense organs. And then the answer comes neti. Answer is neti. It is not. Then you are deepening the question. Am I the senses? Senses, sense organs, we know. You are putting questions to each and every sense organs, and the answer will come neti. And then you take the subject of different sensations that comes to you through the sense organs, like skin, kannu, chevi, naaku, viji, ear. These are the sense organs. The sensations are hearing, vision, sense of touch, sense of taste, and then what is the next? Smell, sense of smell. And so, is it real? Because when we are sleeping, it is not operating at all. We have the organ, but it is not functioning. So is it permanent? Am I the senses? I am not the senses. Is it permanent? It is not permanent. It comes and goes. So, am I the senses? The answer comes, neti.
മുകളിലത്തേൻ്റെയും ആൻസറിന് എഴുതിയല്ലേ?
എല്ലാത്തിൻ്റെയും ഇത് വരും. ഈ ആൻസർ വരും കുറേ കാലം നോക്കിയേ. അപ്പോൾ ഇത് തീരില്ല ഈ എൻക്വയറി. എൻക്വയറി തീരില്ല. ഇതിപ്പോൾ നമുക്ക് പെട്ടെന്ന് വിചാരിക്കാം. When we are exploring nowadays with all the back data, then the answer comes immediately, but it's not, it is quoting from the past. We are not convinced because we have not directly come there. And that is actually a block and a problem. If you wanted to inquire and understand for your sake, you have to actually look into it and find your own answer. Maybe something else, as you said, may come. Otherwise, you can quote this, you can continuously talk about it, but when something happens to your sense, then you will understand that, no, this is real. You get panicked. If it is not real, why are you getting panicked? If you cannot see something, you get really troubled. So the anguish, the problems, the suffering, everything comes as if it is something real has happened to you. So this bookish answer or the quoting of the masters won't help in any of the explorations, especially on Brahma and Jnanayoga. You understand? Seemingly very easy, but it has to come from within based on your own experience and understanding. That's why we are born. And so quoting of the past information, knowledge, all these things will not satisfy you completely. Other than that, we are going for a direct experience of this. And on the way we go on quoting others. Maharishi Paranju. Maharishi has said it is not real, so it is not real. But when something comes to you, it becomes real. You understand? That is, and a yogic practitioner is not doing that. He waits and explores and years goes in this. With the exploration, like meditation. Seemingly very easy, but not that easy, because you need to have a concentrated mind to question and see the answers. Until all the questions are exhausted, there will be doubt. Avadana Osho ചോദിച്ചത്, why to become a question when you are the answer itself? നല്ലൊരു saying. And later, you understand it later. In the beginning, you won't understand this.
എൻ്റെ ഒരു കഥ പറയുന്നുണ്ടല്ലോ, ഒരാൾ വന്നിട്ട് ബുദ്ധനായിട്ട് കുറേ ചോദ്യങ്ങൾ ചോദിച്ചു. അപ്പോൾ ബുദ്ധൻ പറഞ്ഞു, ഞാൻ എല്ലാ ചോദ്യത്തിനും ഉത്തരം പറയാം, പക്ഷെ 6 മാസം നിങ്ങൾ ഇവിടെ ഇരിക്കണം. 1 വർഷമാണ്, 1 വർഷം നിങ്ങൾ ഇവിടെ ഇരിക്കണം. അത് കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് നിങ്ങൾ എന്ത് ചോദ്യം വേണേലും ചോദിച്ചോളൂ, അപ്പം ഞാൻ അതിനെല്ലാം ഉത്തരം പറയും. ഈ മഹാവിശ്വത്തിൽ നിന്ന് ഭയങ്കര ചിരിച്ചിരിക്കാൻ തുടങ്ങി. അപ്പോൾ ഇയാൾ ചോദിച്ചെന്താണ് ചിരിക്കുന്നത്? ഇത് ഇങ്ങനെ കളിപ്പിക്കുകയാണ്. എന്നോട് ഇങ്ങനെ തന്നെയാണ് പറഞ്ഞത്. 1 വർഷം കഴിഞ്ഞപ്പോൾ എൻ്റെ ചോദ്യമെല്ലാം അവസാനിച്ചു. 1 വർഷം ഞാനിവിടെ ഇരുന്നു, അപ്പോൾ പിന്നെ എൻ്റെ ചോദ്യമെല്ലാം അവസാനിച്ചു. ചോദ്യമില്ല.
അതെ, ആകാശത്തിന്റെ ചെറിയ വലിയ പ്രസിദ്ധമാണ്. അത് ചോദിക്കാം.